I have not been posting. But let me just say sorry, because life has been lifing. And it's just been a roller coaster of just life. And I have not picked up my camera to record. It's my son in the back. If you hear noises, he's in the back seat. But I have just not had the capacity to record. But here I am. And also I think too, like, having to rehash just all of these memories and traumas and things of that nature, like, it's definitely taking a toll on me, mentally. Just having to kind of like go through everything, relive everything, remember everything. So please be patient with me. You say, excuse me? Be patient with me, guys. I promise I will get better at this social media stuff. I just have to kind of get a schedule. But I'm here. Actually, this is a redo of the video that I did not post, that I had edited in my thingy. Basically talking about how one decision can literally change your life. And if you guys, so for the guys who are new to the channel, who have not watched any of my previous videos, I'm a twin. My twin brother passed away May of 2021. I am a firm believer that if my brother had not made the decision to leave our house and go to our relative's house, hold on. I am a firm believer that if he decided to stay with us and not go to our relative's house, that he would still be here today. And, sometimes we make decisions, based upon just what we think is right for, ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that we should always weigh the cost. My mom always says, count the cost of what it is that you're trying to do or that you want to do. And not everything has a negative consequence or a negative outcome, but some things do. And, my brother left our safety and protection to go live with a relative of ours. And there's a lot of backstory to that I won't have time to go into today, because that will probably be a series within itself, just talking about what we went through as children, childhood trauma that I've experienced from that situation. And I would even do a quick synopsis, but it's so much to get into. But basically, the house that we came from, they did not have our best interest in heart. We were allowed to do a lot of different things that no child should ever be allowed to do. One of them was pornography. We were allowed to look at and watch pornography. I think I started at the age of 9. And again, no boundaries. But anyways, not to get off topic. So he decided to leave our house to go live with our relatives. And we would have honestly rather preferred that he went to like a friend's house, got his own place or whatever the case was, but he decided to go there. And as he was 18, we can't stop him because he's now an adult, things like that. But I think when we try to live life without God as the forefront and without, listening in a sense, and, just not being in a hurry to do what we want to do. And I'm not trying to put my brother in a bad light. Like, listen, we all make mistakes. We all do things that we shouldn't do. We all make dumb choices, dumb decisions. We all think that we're grown. We all think that we've arrived. So listen, I did it. That's how I have Tobias. Okay, like it's not a condemnation on him. It's just my reality. It's reality, that he made a choice to leave. And in him making that choice, now he's no longer here. And that sounds like such a harsh reality and such a harsh way to put it, but it's true. And I have like this like anger that I want to just leash out to him, because it's like, bro, like of all places to go, why would you go back there? Like they were our abusers in a sense when we were younger. They had no love or respect for us. Why would you go back to the place that we were delivered from? But again, we think we know what's best for us, And it's just, when you want to live a certain lifestyle and people allow the lifestyle to be lived, you tend to go in that particular direction. And now I do feel like my brother went back to his first love, which was Christ. I definitely have no doubt. And I think that there were too many signs after he passed away, where God told us, like, you know what, he's safe, he's fine, he's with me, he's good. Because I struggle with that. I'm like, listen, I can't imagine my brother burning in hell. I can't. And for those who don't know, I'm a believer. Me and God, we close. Like, me and Jesus, that's my homie. Like, we let me stop. But I'm a believer. My channel is faith-based. So a lot of what you guys will hear from me will be testimonies of just things that I've gone through, blah, 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 going back to God. But I do believe that my brother found Christ again after he went through his journey of just life. And he passed away when he was 23. He left when he was 18. And I think with him not being close to God in his early, late teens, early 20s, he turned to things like alcohol and drugs and just relationships. And I think that caused him to be depressed in a sense. And I also think that he saw the mistake he made going back to the house that he went to live at. And one thing about my brother and I is that we are very secretive with how we feel. We're not very vulnerable in a sense. And I'm working on that, hence why I'm here. And I think he saw the effect it was having on him. And I think he just saw some things in the house as well that, caused him to just kind of spiral in a sense. Mom, hold on, buddy. I'm coming, okay? I'm coming. And sadly, that was that. He ended up turning to alcohol and drugs. And with my brother, that he did not like alcohol. Like, he wouldn't even drink grapefruit, like grape juice, because he did not like the taste of alcohol. Now me, I stopped drinking at 23 actually. Couple reasons behind that, but I stopped drinking at 23. But yeah, he was not a fan of alcohol. But again, when we don't have Christ as our focal point, as our comfort, as our center, we tend to go do things that help us cope in a sense with what we're going through. For me, it was, I went back to my son's father. My brother passed away. Again, my relationship with God wasn't as strong as it is now. So again, I didn't run to the Father when I was going through life and when life was happening. I went to sex. Just keeping it point blank, plain and simple. That's what I went to. I went to sex. And that's how I now have Toby. My brother turned to drugs and alcohol, and he was depressed. And I think also depression kind of just plagues our family as well. I also have my bouts of going through depression and anxiety, things like that. But again, we have to really count the cost, and we have to weigh the cost, and we have to think about, what is this decision going to do? What impact could it possibly have, not just on me, but on my family? Him leaving caused him to pass away. His passing away caused us to now hurt and to grieve and to now have children out of wedlock. And I'm not saying that I'm not giving an excuse to what I did. I'm just saying that sometimes when we're not spiritually mature, we use other things to try to deal with and cope with life, right? So again, he passed away. I ran to, sex and things like that, and relationships and whatnot, to try to cope with what I was going through. I was very suicidal. And, it was crazy. It was a crazy time. My parents are still grieving. My mom is going through, gosh, I look at her and sometimes I'm just like, I don't even know how you're doing it right now. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to lose a child. Now that I'm a mom myself, I cannot imagine what it must feel like to lose a child. I cannot imagine my life without this one in the back taking off his shoes and socks because he's upset that I won't take him out the car seat. I can't imagine what that must be like, And now they have to go through the grief of losing a son. but then also having to keep living and keep a marriage going, keep children, you know, and household duties. And it's just like that one decision my brother made has now altered our entire family, our entire, like, how we think and process. Now I suffer from PTSD. I'm in therapy now, and I have PTSD. I have depression and anxiety. I think she said I had OCD in some you know, instances. It's just, my mom was in counseling. Like, one thing that we do can literally alter life. Look at Adam and Eve. If you girls who don't know, Adam and Eve were the first people that got put on this planet, and they were instructed not to eat the fruit from the forbidden tree. Basically, Garden of Eden, they had all the fruit, all the stuff that they needed, all the stuff that they wanted. God was like, hey, listen, don't eat from the tree of good and evil. Or the tree's forbidden, don't eat from it. All right. Eve, crazy self, listening to the serpent, and Adam, not in his place as a man, letting her talk to the serpent, and then they end up eating the forbidden fruit. And now look at humanity. One choice that they made caused humanity to be like, we should be naked right now, okay? We should be naked. We now have to wake by the sweat of our brow. We have to birth children and it hurts. Like, come on, you know? But it's just, we have to really count the cost. We have to really think about what it is that we're trying to do. Sometimes we have to just take the long road. Sometimes we just have to, you know? So, my son's getting restless, so I have to go. But, I'm coming, buddy, okay? Just think about what it is that you're trying to do, and think about who it could possibly impact, not just yourself. Sometimes we can be selfish in our thinking. And I plead, just before you make a life-changing decision, really think about what it is that you're trying to do, who it could possibly affect. You know, is this the best decision for you? Bible says that there's a way that we think, that I'm paraphrasing, there's a way that we think that it's right, but the end thereof leads to death. Think about the cost. Think about what you're trying to do. Think about the decision. Think about who it can impact. Go to God. Go to someone who's close to God if you're not, like, there with where you want to be with God. Like, trust me, like, he's not a God of confusion. He will lead you in the direction that you need to go. Okay? So I say this with a heavy heart. Go to God. Go to your mom, your dad, your brothers, your cousins, someone who's older than you, who has knowledge, and just kind of plead your case, you know, weigh all the decisions, look at what and who it can impact, and just, you know, don't be selfish in your thinking. Don't be selfish. But I gotta go. My son's being fussy in the car seat, so I have to go do preschool with him. And, yeah. See you guys in the next one. Bye.